Hello and welcome to BTech. Today we are going to be looking at outdoor smart plugs. So as you can probably see from my last video, I've been using the Apple Homekit in my home for about the last 3 years, and overall I really like it. I have 7 wireless access points, so the Wi-Fi coverage is very good. They're all the Apple Airport Extremes, which I really like. It's too bad they're not still in production. And all of those are networked through a gigabit switch through Ethernet, and so they ended up working really, really well. I don't have any wireless connectivity problems anywhere in or around the house. However, with these Meross smart plugs, I've had a lot of issues with them over the years. At first, I invested in these because they're very good price, and they didn't require a hub, which I really liked, and I thought that having direct Wi-Fi connectivity would be a plus. The problem we have with them is that they like to disconnect. They disconnect it once every few days, every few weeks for most of them, and you actually need to power cycle them by plugging them in and replugging them in again to get them to connect. And that's quite frustrating. Now, there hasn't really been a great alternative, but what I did notice is that with my light switches, which are all these Lutron light switches, they all connect through HomeKit through a hub. And that hub is connected via Ethernet into my main switch. And what I've noticed is I've never had any of the switches lose connectivity even once. There's about 60, I believe, in the home, and I've never had a problem with a single switch. It's been really, really great. So I'm slowly replacing these smart plugs with either Lutron smart plug for the outdoor, and as you can see for the last video, for the indoor, I've been replacing them with the Philips Hue smart plug. Now, the main thing that's kept me from doing this over the last few years is there's a big price difference. So for this Meross smart plug, these go for about $22 right now, where this Lutron smart plug, which we'll unbox here in a second, sells for $80. So you got almost a fourfold price difference there. However, due to the frustration, it's gotten to the point where I'd personally rather pay 4 times as much for a single smart plug that works, not one that I have to intermittently go out and use manually. The whole reason to have this is so that you don't have to go out to each switch and manually control them. So without further ado, let's look at the Lutron switch, and we can talk a little bit about their specification differences, if any. It's the first time I'm opening it up, so bear with me. See on the front for the model. Alright, so what we get here, besides the typical pamphlets, comes in this bubble wrap. And the bubble wrap, we have the smart switch, outdoor smart plug. So for this application, I'm replacing one of these Meross smart plugs that controls a bunch of LED lights that go around my backyard, which we use to have some nice ambient light in the backyard, and we have late night barbecues or just sitting out having a drink on the porch. So it's not a high energy application, does not require a lot of current. These Meross smart plugs say that they work up to about 10 amps for resistive loads, and they say 8 amp maximum for tungsten loads. And for this Caseta wireless, which is going to require a hub as well, but I already have the hub because I already have a bunch of the Lutron Caseta stuff within my house. They're rating this a little bit higher. They're rating it up to 15 amps, and they don't say what type of load that has to be. We got just like the Meross, we have a single power switch here, which I assume is the manual operating power switch, and we'll see if it connects similarly to the rest of the Lutron devices. I imagine it does. Not much interesting stuff here on the back. It is rated outdoor, looks like IP66. Let's compare that to the Meross plug. I am not seeing any particular rating here. So I'll put it in the description if I can find one for this, but at least written on here, I don't see any particular rating. I can say that I live in a pretty rainy area, and I've had mine out. I have a few of these outside. One which is just mounted to my wall outside of the house, is in direct sunlight and direct rain, and it has not had any problems whatsoever. I do mount it in this orientation, so nothing the rain's not kind of filling up on top of the plugs. And I also have one of these mounted in an electrical box that I buried underground, and that one also has not had any issues, but I think that electrical box is pretty well sealed. Ironically, that one actually has less connectivity issues, even though there's a poor Wi-Fi signal there. So the connectivity issues that we have with these don't seem to be related to how good the Wi-Fi signal is. I have some of these that are just a few feet from a wireless access point. They're reporting perfect signal, and then they're still not able to connect, or they're dropping connection. So there's something with how these things connect to wireless networks over time that makes them unstable. I'm not sure what it is. So let's go outside and get this installed, and then try it out. All right, so here we have the Meross smart plug plugged into a GFI outlet I have out here. I have it mounted with a stainless steel bolt on the side of the house. And I have this is the extension cord that goes to our LED lights for the backyard. As you can see, I'm only using one of two plugs. One of the big benefits of the Meross is that it has two independently controllable plugs, which I really, really like about it. Because you can actually control two different things with one plug, which just puts this per plug down by the price range of the indoor versions, which are about $10 each, in comparison to $80 for this Lutron switch, which only has a single plug. But again, needing to intermittently deal with connectivity issues, I would rather have a single plug that really works, and I'd be willing to have a higher price point to have something that works as well. So we're going to try that out. So what we're going to do here is power this down. Just up and off the bolt. What we'll do is we'll pull off the see if the Lutron will fit on the same bolt size, and it will. It's great. Some cobwebs on the plug here. I'll get that cleaned off. Let's get this plugged in. All right, plugged in. We'll use the same right angle adapter up here. All right, so we have it all installed. So I'll go ahead and try to pair it with the Lutron system right now. Okay, here I have my Lutron app up, and I'm just adding the device. I wasn't sure if it was going to add smoothly since it was outside and pretty far from the hub, but it seemed to add well. So just watch as we go along adding the device here. Set up and working great now. I wasn't sure if it was going to get good signal. One thing to keep in mind is that when you turn it on, the light only comes on for a bit. When you turn it on, the light only comes off for a bit as well. And when you're using it through the Homekit app, the light doesn't come on at all, but you can hear the relay clicking on and off. So that's it. We'll report back on a longer term review. Thanks, everybody.